Hello, everyone. My name is Afik Amnadam, and you're welcome to ISAS Educators.
Like I said earlier, thank you. And my name is Alex. My YouTube channel is over there, so you can follow me in all the platforms. Thank you so much. ISAS educators. I also do teaching and then how to teach and then some corrections over there. All right, so this evening, what we're going to do is that we are going to look at the differences. Are there actually differences between games and activities? If there are, we're going to look at them. And then we will look at the characteristics of the two of them, and then we will know which one to use often or which one to use or which one is so much beneficial to use. I'm not going to say that gaming is not good. Playing games in class is good, but I think it should be limited in a way, and then other things will take place. Because, during the IELTS presentation, Elder Williams said something. He said most of the parents want results, and so they pay for the results. And then one funny thing is that the students don't care about the results. They care about being happy. Center doesn't care about the results. They care about getting a lot of students. How do we get a lot of students? Our student comes to the center and they are happy. And so if the student is always happy, then it is easy for us to get the student and then get money. But eventually, if the student is not able to perform, the teacher is in trouble. Who is going to lose his job? The teacher is going to lose his job. So we have to be much more careful about that. So please, let's move straight into it. We are going to look at the introduction, then the purposes, and then useful examples, and then conclusion. And then we will go. So the definitions. Now, what is game? What are games? Okay, so a game is an active learning technique that uses games to improve students' learning. The learning in this case comes from playing the game, which promotes critical thinking and problem-solving skills. I'll be going so fast because game-based learning can be achieved through digital and non-digital games and stimulations that allow students to experience the learning firsthand. Games help students to become part of a team as well as take responsibilities of their own learning. Game plays important role in teaching by making students do, number one, collaborate. So the games bring the students together, they collaborate. Number two, they communicate. And then number three, they interact and work in a team. If you're playing a game and your students are not interacting and they are not working in a team, you have failed. If you are playing a game and your students are not communicating, you have failed. And if they are communicating, in what language are they communicating? Let's remember that we are English teachers. And so as we enter into the class and we set the rules of the class, we should include no Vietnamese. If you speak Vietnamese, there should be a point that is going to be taken out of your points. So with that, it is going to deter them from speaking. Even from the kindergarten level, they understand what it means to lose a point. So we have to be able to also use the games to attract our students into the speaking aspect so that they'll be able to produce more and then also collaborate with their friends. And then the strategic games improve the function. Remember the strategic games. Some people just play games, but your games should be strategic. It improves the functioning of the brain. Gaming creates a dynamic that can inspire learners to develop skills and build an emotional connection to learning and subject matter. Okay, so remember, Every level has its suitable game. I remember when I came to Vietnam the first time, I went for a demo, and then my demo, I got my job. And then someone came, a friend of mine came to the same center. And then before that, I had met that guy already. So we had an encounter. And then we had learned a lot of games and then warm-ups. So when it got to the teenager class, he was using a song like Hello, Hello, you understand? Because he knew that before. He has done it before. He knows what it is. But he never knew that I have met another level of students. And that was how he failed his demo lesson. So we should know that your game should have the level in which you're going to apply. Also, I had an English club in Halong here. I finished teaching one time, and then some of the students started complaining because I played a certain game in the club. And there are some girls who have big boobs, you understand what I mean? They are mature, too grown. And so they feel that some games are not for them. So we should be careful the games we play and then at which level we play those games. Very, very important point to note. And then let's look at this, characteristics of games. Okay, so this is going to help me. Characteristics of games. Number one, it is structured. Number two, the rules and objectives are so clear. So you need to give them, it should be structured. It should get rules and regulations or objectives to which you are playing the game. If your game doesn't have any connection with your lesson, my sister, my brother, please stop it. Don't play. Don't think, or you've heard, because you've heard that they said, make them happy. Let's make them happy. So you see some game someone played, and then the students were making noise in the class. Let's not confuse noise making in the class in the name of happiness to real happiness that comes from interesting lesson. Let's not confuse the two because they are never the same. Thank you. And then, so that is it. And then it also has competition and cooperation. So your game should have these three characteristics, and you'll be able to succeed. And then it also has winners and losers. When you play the game, normally for the lower ages, when you play and you finish, you don't tell them who the winner is. They are not happy with you. So if you play the game, every game has a winner, every game has a loser. You should announce at the end of the game for them to get you. And then the great thing about gaming is that it falls around every age level. Adults, everybody wants to play a game. So let's make sure we know what it is. But please, because everybody wants to play a game, we don't also have to be so glued to the belief that gaming is the teaching. Because one day, remember, the young shall grow. The young shall grow. Thank you. And so they all love to play games online and then in person and then independently. So the concept, this is how the concept is, okay? Please. The game appreciation, tactical awareness, and then the making of the appropriate decision. So that is where the decision making comes in. When your game is properly structured, this is what the student is able to exhibit. If you play any game just like that, if your student doesn't go through this, you didn't play a game. You just made them jump and you finished. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm saying it with much humility. So our students should go through all these things before we can say that we played a game, because your game has to lead the student to learn, and the learning has to lead you, the teacher, into achieving your objectives. If you don't get it, you have not done it. Now, that is for gaming. So let's look at activities. We are going to see there are differences. I'm sorry for going so fast. Now, what is a teaching activity? A learning and teaching activity enables students to engage with a facilitator to learn the knowledge or skills required to achieve the desired educational outcome. This sometimes involves the use of games. Listen, sometimes involves the use of games. So this tells you that the activity is the bigger umbrella, and then the gaming is a part under the activity. Now, this brings to light that games are subsets of the broader sense of activities, okay? However, they aren't different on this note. They are not different. They are the same, but remember, one is bigger than the other. So it is better you do the bigger one so that you'll be able, through the smaller one, achieve your goal as a teacher. Every teacher wants to achieve a goal. What is the goal? The goal is for your student to achieve or to get what you intend in your lesson plan for them. So if they don't get it and you play the game, you just went to the class, I'm sorry, to make noise. So let's be careful about this, brothers and sisters. Now, characteristics of activities. Varied purposes. Remember the game. The game, it is just structured to play. But this one has varied purposes. It has different facets of reasons you are doing the activity. And it leads you to achieving different purposes, not only one stream. Number two, it is less structured. You don't really put in a lot. Just sit down. This is the lesson I'm going to teach. How am I going to teach it? What do I need? I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. How should the student collaborate? So when you do all these things, you go to the class, the students do the teaching and then the learning themselves. What you do is that you walk around, go through, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that, don't do this, do that. After this, I'll be showing you a couple of activities I did in my classroom so that we will get a clear picture of the whole scene. Now, the activities is focused on enjoyment or learning. This is supposed to be a question, so I made a mistake. Is it focused on enjoyment or learning? So now, activities is focused on learning, not enjoyment. So if I always say that if your student loves you because you play games, my brother, my sister, change your style. They shouldn't like you because you play games. They should like you because your lessons are interesting and easy to understand, and they get new things every day. No matter the level of the student, kindergartens know if a lesson is interesting and is easy to capture. They know. Yes, they know. They are 5 years, but they know that yeah, I go to this class and learn. They know. So let's be careful. And then it lacks formal rules or objectives. There are no rules and there are no objectives to the activities, like with the gaming. So you can do everything. Now let's look at these sample pictures. So this is a kindergarten activity. I taught about family. And then after teaching about the family, I realized that kids like colors. So what do I do? What I have to do is that I need to print a family and then give them colors and tell them to paint. Now we have already done colors. So I told them, paint daddy, the shirt of daddy, paint it yellow, paint mother's shirt blue, like that. So they were able to apply the colors. And then they knew whom daddy was. They knew mommy, they knew that they knew brother. So with this activity, what are you doing? You're trying to get the student to remember and then also be able to know when they see and also be able to appreciate colors and understand colors. So that's why I said the purposes of activities are varied. A lot, facets. It is not just one stream. So please, we should be able to plan the right activity for the right lesson and then for the right students at a particular time. Let's look at the next. Okay, so this is a public school. I had a question from someone from Azerbaijan, and then he said, Teacher Alex, the time in the public school is not enough, 35 minutes. I'm not able to do anything. So what should I do in the class? I told him that enter your class, start the class, teach the class, have an activity, and also allow the students to speak all within 35 minutes. And he was like, how can I do that? And I asked him, what do you use your time for? He said, well, I do this. And then he mentioned game playing. So I told him that if you're able to play a game within the 35 minutes, then you should also be able to allow the students to speak at least for 5 minutes or 7 minutes within the 35 minutes. So we should be mindful of this. Now, this is Scrabble game. What was I trying to do? I was trying to let the students be able to appreciate letters. Now, I say the word, for example, jump. You look for the letters. I think you can see here. You can see that the student has spelled home. So we were trying to, this is grade 2 students, and they were trying to put letters together to remember the vocabulary that has been studied already. So this is one interesting activity you can also be having in your classroom. Let me see. Okay, so now this is a game. The first picture is a game, and that is board race. We were trying to write words that have A in them, the different types of A, AY, AI, and A space E. So they were writing, and I wish you were in the classroom. The energy was real, and nobody wanted anybody to copy. Now, the second picture is an activity. They were trying, you can see there's a student in the middle, and the student is being interviewed, and the rest of them are writing information, you know. And then the third picture is also an activity. They were trying to complete a reading or a text with gaps in them. They were trying to complete the text with the vocabulary that they have studied already. So these are some of the activities that will really get the student into working. So with this one, I wasn't doing anything. I was just walking around the classroom, walking, and then I go and check, oh no, you don't need to do this, do that. Okay, change this one, put this one there. So the student is learning, and you are adding more information for the student to really learn better. That is why I'm saying that it is much more appropriate to get the right activity to help the student to learn more than to focus on what, I'm sorry to say, what we call game, and then we will make them happy. I know we need to retain our jobs, but if we really teach well and we use the right approaches, and the students are able to grasp what we want them to grasp, nobody can ask you out of your company. I'm telling you. In my company, I'm the only African, and I'm the head teacher and academic coordinator. We have British, we have Americans in the school, and then that is it. So please, let's put the right antics into play, and then we really get our jobs. They don't really have to jump, and make a lot of noise for the people to know we are teaching. It reflects. One day they will ask the students, if the students are not able produce anything, you get out of the company because they think you are not doing anything. So let's be focused on that. Now, this is another activity. You can see the students. So all these are activities I did with my students, and you can see this one is think, pair, share, and they are thinking, they are pairing, they are sharing. So this one, you can see a lot of papers in front of my students. What are they doing? They are trying to sort out words, put them in the right places. So this one was an activity about the ending sound ed. When does it sound d? When does it sound t? When does it sound it? So we were trying to put all those things into play. And then this one is also an activity we call the project-based learning. It is part of project-based learning. And what happened is that I gave them the topic, go home, and then they thought about it. They came to the class. Now I gave them papers. Someone is using the phone to get more information. Someone is speaking, and then other people are also drawing, and others are writing. So it is a group and a collaborative thing. It helps the student to get the most out of your lesson. Now, this is a high school in another city I went. And then over here, the activity on the board was go around the class. It was a survey. So go around the classroom, look for somebody who has, quote unquote, who slept 9 p.m. yesterday, who ate football this morning, who did that, who did that. So the student goes round, and what do? They speak English to do the survey. What do? You go around to check. If you see the student speaking Vietnamese, you have to no Vietnamese in a very nice way. The student should know you are in charge of the class in a very nice way, and they will be happy you are in charge. Sometimes you go a bit harsh, but they know teacher is playful, and they keep quiet. So you need to be able to use all these activities to check all these things. So this is a survey. Go around, look for someone who this, look for someone who that. So I had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going around, you're going to speak 10 English. You're going to use 10 lines to look for 10 people or more. So at the end of the day, the student end up speaking and then writing and then also knowing how to gather information. Now, benefits of activities. It develops interest, it engages students, it helps teachers for the feedback of the student based on their understanding of the subjects. So a game actually doesn't give you these benefits. Activity gives you the opportunity to have these benefits, but games don't do that. So we need to check well. And then remember, if you're using activities, if you're using games in your classroom, and I'm using activities, it doesn't mean my students are bored. No. Probably maybe you come to my class and you realize that my students are happy much more than your students, even though they are playing games all the time. Now, let's look at this. Okay, so games for entertainment, competition, skill development, activities for learning, relaxation, and then personal development. When I say entertainment, I'm not saying they don't learn anything. Please don't get it that way. Entertainment here means that they are happy around. Do you get it? Now let's look at this. The activities provides learning, relaxation, because there's no kind of, there's nothing like pouring out energy. The energy comes from inside. So the students should be motivated intrinsically and then extrinsically all together. How do you do that? Mostly our students are motivated extrinsically. They don't have internal motivation. So when you play games, when you go to a class and the student teach a game, you should know that your student is suffering from external motivation. They don't have internal motivation. And that does not help you, the teacher, to achieve your goals. So we have to be able to get to the state where we are able to have an equilibrium where extrinsic motivation meets intrinsic motivation. And that is what we call complete motivation.
Alex, we can't hear you again. We can't hear you again.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we cannot hear you.
Oh, I'm
Previously,
sorry.
we couldn't hear.
Yeah, I was saying that the teacher should get to a point where intrinsic motivation meets extrinsic motivation. If you are not able to get to that level, your student is suffering from a syndrome known as the extrinsic motivation, because they only get motivated about what they see around. That is why they will always say, teach a game, teach a game. If you don't play a game, your student is bored. If you play games, your students are happy and they love you. And please, I don't think that is real love. I think that is infatuation. So please, let's make sure that if our students love us, they love us genuinely, not because of our games. It's because of how we do our job and how they understand the lessons when they are being taught. Now let's look at social interactions. For games, often involves competition, teamwork, and then social bonding. Let's look at activities. Collaborative or individual. Focus on cooperation and then shared experiences. Now let's look at skills development for games. Strategic thinking, decision making, physical skills, activities, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence. I'll say something shocking at the end of the presentation. At the end of the presentation, this is what I'm going to say. Let's remember that everything we get in the gaming, we get it in activities, but everything we get in the activities, we don't get them in the gaming. So the choice is yours as a teacher, to choose what you want to do. You can actually turn your lesson into a game. And then I ask the question, so do you always need to prepare a game every day before you go to class? It's a question. Do we? Because some of us do that every day. We need to prepare a game. We need to find a game. We go online to look for a game every time. Do we have to do that to get our jobs, or to get our students motivated, or to make our students happy in class? What is the deal? Number two, don't assume they might be bored with this, they might be bored with that. I was speaking to one teacher the last time, and the teacher was like, what song should I play? I said, play this song. He said, oh no, my students, I think the song is too much in their ears and they are bored with this, so I need a new song. One thing a teacher should stop doing is, if you're a teacher, you have to stop assuming, stop making assumptions about your students. Assumptions kills. So please don't make assumptions. Don't assume for them. These kids are able to enjoy 13 billion views of Baby Shark, and you tell me they are bored? No, please. So please don't assume for them. And then, it is not your job to make a student happy. It is the job of the lesson to make the student happy, not you. So your job is to be home, make the lesson properly planned. Get out there and the student will jump. Number two, don't lure the students with gifts. It is very dangerous, especially those who give candies to the kids. I've had a situation where a foreign teacher gave a student a candy, not knowing the student was allergic to chocolate. So don't try to do that. Get your lesson properly planned and put them out. So finally, you have to develop the interest of the student intrinsically by making the lesson itself interesting in guiding students to completely understand the lesson. When they are motivated intrinsically and extrinsically, they fall in love with the teacher, his or her class, and all about the teacher genuinely. This is better than making them happy on a lesson for one reason or the other. Those are temporal. So finally, please, I'm sorry for taking your time. Games, online, word wall, bamboozle, Quizzy, and Kahoot. These are very amazing games. The Quizzy over here.
Your voice is gone again.
Come again?
Yeah, you're back.
Sorry, I think it's my network.
Okay.
So with the games now, we have online games. That is the word wall. I think in future, if we have the chance to go through this, I'll not do anything. What I'll do is that I'll go straight to online games and offline games so that we can, because now I can't do anything more. Now, word wall, bamboozle, Quizzy, and Kahoots. I'll be making videos on this on my channel, and then I'll post them so that in future we can watch, and then also there is no time. And then, so the Quizzy here and then the Kahoot here works well for teenagers and also for IELTS classes, normally for warm-ups. and for review of vocabulary that has been taught already. So you can use Quizy and Kahoot to do that. And then the Bamboozle and the Word Wall works for the lower classes, for the secondary school down to primary school. Let's look at offlines. We have board race, where you give the students markers or pens, and then probably maybe you jumble a word, you know, the letters of a word. If it's home, you make it O-M-E-H, and then they run to the board and they write fast and there's a teacher me. So like that. That is what we call board race. It is used for vocabulary review. We have hot seats. Hot seat, normally people call it back to the board. 2 students or 3 students from each team sit in front. You write the word at the back. The other students use actions to, you know, tell them the word, and then they mention the word. That is what we call the hot seat. We have flashcard rush. When you fix your flashcards with magnets on the board, then the students, what you do is that, for example, you say tiger, then the students with a slapper run to the board and they hit. Most teachers play those games. When you don't have boards, normally they put it on the floor and the students will run to hit it. So that is what we call the flashcard race. Or sometimes you say the word and they will run. When you find the word, you pick the flashcard. So that is flashcard race. We have another game called I Spy. This is normally for warm-ups. I spy is, for example, you say, I spy something in the classroom. It is black, it is rectangle. You can use it to watch cartoons and even sports at home. Teacher TV, like that. So you make your sentence, you spy and you make your sentence, and the students tell you what you're talking about. I spy something rectangular. It is white. When a room is hot, you turn it on and the room gets colder. Teacher me, air conditioner, like that. So I spy is very, very good. You can use it to review your vocabulary. And then find the corner. This works for kindergartners. You hold your hands, you put the flashcards at the corners of the classroom. So you hold your hands in a circle, and then you go like, let's find tiger. Then you pull them to one corner. No, this is a rabbit. Then you look for the corner where you can find a flashcard tiger. So when you get there, you pick it and the students will be happy about it. So it is also used for vocabulary, also used for memory. So it helps the students to remember the vocabulary they have learned. And then we have flashcard tower. For example, you give the flashcards, you divide the flashcards into 2. When you have a lot of flashcards, you can divide them into 2, give part to each team, and then you give them caps. So for example, you say mom, then they put one cap down like this, and they put mom, the flashcard on top of it. Then you say dad, they put another cap on top of it, then they put the next flashcard, dad, on top of it. So at the end of the day, they build a flashcard tower. That works also for kindergartners. And then let's look at this one. Reading and writing activities. We have text gaps. That is where you have a long passage, or at least a number of lines with a passage. Then you have gaps in there. What are the gaps? The gaps are the vocabulary you learned previously. So the students will read the text and then they will write the vocabulary where they are supposed to be in the text. So that is it. So with this one, you can place them on the walls. You know, if you have about 6 lines, you can write 1 line on each paper, place them on the walls. The students go round and round and round. So you can see that the students are walking through the classroom. The classroom is never quiet. That is it. So they go here and then they write the answer. They go to this paper, they write the answer. What are you trying to do? At the end of the day, the student or the group of students who will be able to finish all the 6 questions answered correctly, they are the winners of the activity. So you can see that they go to the first paper. Okay, so this is volcano. Then they write the whole sentence with volcano over there. They go to question 2. They go to question 3. It works. It helps a lot. And then cross the river. This is a bit difficult. It's for writing. What they do is that you're going to write about your family. Okay, so you put all the books on a table over here. And then you leave only the papers you're writing on another table over here, all the students. So if you're writing and you need a word, what you do is that you cross to the other side where the books are, and that is cross the river. So you go to the river, you look for the word you want. How? It builds memory. It helps the students to remember because I'm looking for brother. So by the time they get to the end of the river and they still remember the word they're looking for, they look for the word, they look for the definition in a dictionary, keep it in memory, come back, and they have to be able to remember to say what they saw in the dictionary to their group so they can write it. It helps the students to remember more. So that is it. And then we have extra worksheets. You can download them online. It helps the students to. So if you saw some of my pictures, you could see that my students were working with worksheets. It helps the students to work more, and they never get tired. They never get bored. They are happy doing it. And then we have listening and speaking activities. This one, you can do activities like whispers. You say to the first one say to the second one, like that, like that, like that. So the last one will run to the board to write it. That's whisper game. Then we have questionnaire, like the one I showed to you for the high school. They go around to look for who has done this, who has done that. That is questionnaire. That is for speaking. And then write what you heard. You can provide a sound, music, play a song they love. And then when you play each line, tell them to write, maybe let's say, write the last word you hear in the first line of the song. Then it plays, you pause it, then they write what they heard. It helps them build their listening capacity. I'm running so fast and I'm sorry for that. So hey guys, yeah, this is where we draw the curtain, but I will say that if you have one or two questions, you can ask. 2 questions will be enough so that in future, if there are other questions, you can reach out and we will see what we can do. But now let's talk about only two or three questions. Hello.
Hello. Oh, if you. Hello.
Yes, any question?
Someone says if okay, he says God should bless us.
Any question, please?
I was checking through the. How do you engage 1 to 2 old Hindi? John is asking how to engage 1 to 2 Hindi baby games.
Okay. So one thing we have to remember is that these kids are not in the classroom to learn. If you remember this, you'll be able to handle them properly. They are not there to learn. What you are there as a teacher to do or as a facilitator to do is to keep them company and then be able to lure them into what you want them to do. So what do you do? Get interested in their interest. If they are doing something, you get involved in what they are doing so that you can, through that, introduce them to your interest. I have a class like that, 1 to 2 years old, yes. And then they are about 6 in the class. So when I go to the class, what I do is I go there, hey, hello, everybody. I give them a high five. We sit down, and I know they love to dance. So I play Baby Shark, and then sometimes I use my mouth. Baby Shark, do, 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 Baby Shark. They don't dance. Sometimes they don't move. What do? You go to this student, you hold the student, then you move the student a little bit, leave that student, move to the next one, move them a little bit. So you are trying to get them involved in what you want to do. They will most of them will never speak. But if you are able to get them to speak, they speak forever. I have all my students speaking now. I say the word and they repeat after me, but it wasn't like that from the beginning. So remember, they are not there to learn. Number 2, get interested in their interest and then be able to lure them into your interest. Number 3, when you say a word, be funny about it. Be a child about the word. Cat, what is this? Meow, What's that? It's like, is it a dog? Woof, woof. No. They will not mind you, so you have to say no. Is it a cat? They will be able to develop the interest gradually because it doesn't come at once. So that is how you can engage them. Get to them. If you don't get to them and you want to do it like the other kids, you will lose it. You will fail that class. I hope I've answered. Any other question, please? Any other question, please? Okay, so someone said, furnish us with more games and activities for the various aspects. Are you the... No. The brother with the ESL game and resource is the brother Joe Philip. Joe Philip's channel is amazing. You can get a lot more of activities over there. So that channel is ESL Hub. ESL Hub. So you can go there, Mr. Gabriel. You can go to ESL Hub. That is Joe Phillips' channel, and he has a lot of games over there. A lot of games, a lot. You cannot finish them. So anybody here, you can go to that channel and then look for more games. And then please, when you look for the games, remember to subscribe for him. Thank you so much. Yeah, what else? And someone said, what's the name of your channel? Yeah, my channel's name is ISAS Educators. ISAS Educators. So that is what I do over there. I only deal with teacher and teaching stuff. That is the name of my channel over here, ISAS Educators. So
all right, thank you,
thank you so much, guys.
Time is really going fast.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You can reach out later in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, I wish we could unmute and say thank you to Bra Alex. He's been very resourceful. So
God bless you.
thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you so much. God bless you.
God bless you.
Please, we'll then move on to our next facilitator.
Uncle Bravo, God bless you. From one day.
Use one name.
Yeah. Our next facilitator
get
is
a
our
list of
brother
weekend?
Our brother Alex, he knows it.
Philemon. He's going to take us through
One day.
how to teach